The term Souls-like gets thrown around a lot, doesn't it? It's kind of become this catch-all for any game that's just hard, you know? But it's actually more than that. And of course, FromSoftware are the undisputed kings. No one's arguing that. But over the years, other developers have stepped up to the plate, and they've created some truly incredible experiences in the genre. Some of them even do things that FromSoftware hasn't. As always, I'm Daniel, and today, 12 best Souls-like masterpiece not made by FromSoftware.
All right, starting off at number 12, we have The Surge 2. Now, the Souls-like genre is a crowded genre, and one of the things that makes The Surge stand out in this crowded genre is the limb targeting system. You don't just kill enemies for souls or tech scrap, as they call it here. You're a scavenger. You see an enemy with a badass weapon on their arm or a heavy piece of armor on their leg, you have to specifically target that limb, beat on it until you build up enough energy, and then perform a finisher to just slice it right off their body. That's how you get new gear, it's how you get new crafting schematics. This constantly makes you ask yourself, do I hit his unarmored head to kill him quickly and safely? Or do I risk it and go for his armored arm to get that sweet new weapon? Which is not just about hacking away either. There's a directional parry system. You have to read the enemy's attack and parry in the right direction to stagger them, leaving them wide open for you to, dismember them. The big improvement here over the first game is the level design. If you think about it, that's if you've played the first game. If you think about it, the first one was a lot of similar looking corridors. Jericho City is way more open, with tons of shortcuts to unlock and paths that loop back on themselves in that classic Souls-like way. And the bosses? Many of them have specific parts you can break for unique weapons, or you can target weak points to change the fight itself. It's a really smart system that makes the gameplay feel totally unique in the sci-fi space. So your plane gets shot down by a weird nanostorm, and you wake up 2 months later in a prison inside the walled-off Jericho City. The whole place is under martial law, robots are going haywire, and this nano-plague is expanding and creating these terrifying techno-monstrosities. Your goal is basically to survive, figure out what's going on, and find a mysterious young girl named Athena who seems to be connected to your past. Now this one's from Deck 13. They're the same team that did the first Surge and Lords of the Fallen, and let me just say, The Surge 2 is a massive leap forward from both of those games. The combat is so much faster, it's more fluid, and the world is genuinely fun to explore this time around. To cut the long story short, The Surge 2 is a really, really good non-FromSoftware Souls-like game.
So coming in at number 11 is Lords of the Fallen. And I'm talking about the new one, the 2023 reboot from Hexworks, not the old Deck 13 game. The demon god Adir is about to make his big comeback, and you, as one of the fabled Dark Crusaders, are resurrected to go take him down. Pretty standard stuff, right? But the way this game is structured is anything but standard. The absolute main event for this entire game is its dual realms mechanic. You have the world of the living, Axiom, and you have the world of the dead, Umbral. And you have this Umbral lamp. With it, you can literally hold it up and peer into the land of the dead at any time, seeing a twisted, horrifying version of the world overlaid on top of your own. So you have to fully transition into the land of the dead to cross it. It's used for puzzles, for combat, and for everything. It's your second chance mechanic. When you die in the living world, you don't respawn at a bonfire. Instead, you're forcibly ripped out of your body and resurrected right on the spot in Umbral. But of course, Umbral is not a nice place to be. It's super creepy, and the longer you stay there, the more dangerous it gets. A meter starts to fill, and more spectral enemies will start hunting you down relentlessly until you find a way to get back to the world of the living. Die in Umbral, and that's when you respawn at your last checkpoint and, of course, lose all your vigor. This creates a layer of tension and strategy I haven't really seen anywhere else, because every death is a calculated risk. Can you use this second life to push forward and find the next checkpoint, all while being hunted by ghouls? Or do you try and find a quick escape route back to Axiom? It's a brilliant, brilliant system. It's a huge, ambitious game that absolutely nails its central idea.
Next up at number 10, we have Code Vein. So the world in Code Vein has basically ended. Mysterious thorns have ripped through the earth, a disaster called the Great Collapse happened, and now most of humanity is gone. What's left are revenants, vampiric immortal soldiers created to fight the horrors that now roam the world. The catch is that if a revenant doesn't drink human blood, or blood beads, substitute, they go insane and turn into a mindless monster called the Lost. You play as one of these revenants, who, of course, has amnesia. Your goal is to survive this brutal world and piece together your own past. Now, the first thing anyone will tell you about Code Vein is, well, just look at it. It's Anime Souls. That's the nickname it earned, and it's 100% accurate. It's from the same team that makes the God Eater series, so they fully embrace that over-the-top, flashy anime aesthetic. So in this game, instead of picking a class at the start and being stuck with it, you find these blood codes throughout the game, and you can swap between them anytime you want. A tanky, two-handed sword-wielding behemoth to a nimble caster that shoots blood magic from a distance. This system encourages so much experimentation. Each blood coat has its own skills called gifts, and once you master a gift, you can often use it with other blood codes. So you can mix and match to create these insane hybrid builds that feel completely your own. You almost always have an AI companion with you, and they are genuinely helpful. They'll fight alongside you, they'll buff you, they can even revive you if you go down. It makes it a bit more accessible than other titles in the genre, and turns the lonely, oppressive trek of a normal Soulslike into something that feels more like a cooperative journey. Code Vein is a fantastic game that really puts its own unique spin on the formula, and just like the games mentioned earlier and every other game on this list, this is a must-play.
So what we have at number 9 is The First Berserker Kazan. This game, The First Berserker Kazan, absolutely lived up to the hype that was building around it. It's classic, brutal revenge. You are Kazan, the great general of the Pelos Empire, a celebrated hero. You and your best friend, the mage Ozma, save the empire, and for your trouble, the emperor gets jealous, frames you both for treason, and has you exiled. They leave you for dead, but you survive, and, well, you want revenge. Developed by the people behind the Dungeon and Fighter universe, and after sinking dozens of hours into it, I can honestly tell you the combat is really visceral, even though it's got this beautiful, kind of cel-shaded art style. The action itself is heavy and aggressive. And the comparisons to Sekiro and Nioh that were floating around before release were spot on, but Kazan still carves out its own identity. Everything revolves around its dodge system, its parry and dodge system. Timing your defense is the key to breaking an enemy's stance, all those basic rules, which opening them up for some absolutely brutal attacks. You can switch between different weapons, and also it's worth mentioning that the gear system is deep enough to keep you experimenting. And the boss fights are good too. Neopool, I don't know how to pronounce that, Neopool proved they could take the DNA of their MMO and create a world-class single-player Souls-like. If you somehow missed this one when it came out, you need to go back and play it. Next up at number 8 is Star Wars Jedi Survivor. This is, of course, the sequel to Fallen Order, and it picks up 5 years after the first game. Cal Kestis is no longer a Padawan on the run. He's a full-fledged Jedi Knight and a seasoned Resistance fighter, but he's getting tired. The Empire is stronger than ever, and his fight against them feels increasingly hopeless. He's on a quest to find a hidden mythical planet called Tanalorr, a place that could be a true safe haven from the Empire for his friends and everyone else being oppressed. This is basically more of Fallen Order, because it takes everything that worked in Fallen Order and just dials it all up.
The worlds are bigger and more open, the exploration feels way more rewarding, and the combat is also fantastic. Of course, there are changes, and the biggest change here is the introduction of lightsaber stances. There are, I think, 4 or 5 of them in total, and you can equip 2 at a time to swap between on the fly. You've got your standard single blade, which is the all-rounder. Then you have the double blade saber for crowd control. You've got dual wielding for fast, aggressive attacks. And then you get the new ones, a heavy-hitting crossguard stance, which is slow but does massive damage, and also a blaster stance where you use a blaster in one hand and your lightsaber in the other. Each stance has its own skill tree, so you can really specialize. The core Souls-like DNA is still there. You have to read enemy attacks, parry, and dodge, but the sheer variety of combat options makes every fight feel like a scene straight out of the movies. Everything about this game, Survivor, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, is great. Even the traversal is so fluid now. Cal starts the game with all his abilities from the first one, the wall running, the double jump, and they add new stuff like a grappling hook and the ability to tame and ride creatures. It all comes together to make you feel like a truly powerful acrobatic Jedi Knight. It's a very good sequel that builds on the original in every single way.
Moving on to number 7, we've got Remnant 2. The story here picks up after the first game. Humanity is still barely hanging on. You're a survivor who travels through the corrupted world stone to these insane alien dimensions to try and stop the Root, which is this cosmic plant cancer hive mind that's trying to it's trying to destroy all of reality. Now, everyone calls this series Dark Souls with guns because the fundamentals are all there. Tough enemies, even tougher bosses, learning patterns, and a whole lot of dodging. But instead of a sword and shield, you're rocking shotguns, machine guns, and crazy alien weapons that shoot lightning or summon tentacles. It's almost infinitely replayable. And that's because the game is procedurally generated. And I don't just mean the maps are shuffled around a bit. I'm talking the entire experience can change. The dungeons you find, the side quests you get, even the main bosses you fight in a world can be completely different from your friend's playthrough. You can finish the entire game and then hear someone talking about a whole storyline or a boss that you, literally never even saw. The other massive improvement over the first game is the archetype system. These are your classes. You've got the handler, who has a dog companion that can fight and even revive you, which is just the best, let's be honest. You've got the gunslinger for all-out damage, the challenger, who's a close-range tank, all the classic roles. But the best part is you can eventually combine 2 of them. You can be a medic with a dog, you can be a tanky shotgun dude who can also go into a bullet time frenzy. The build crafting is so deep and satisfying. It's a game that's all about discovery. Every new run feels fresh, because it is fresh. You're constantly finding new secrets, new loot, and new absolutely stunning worlds to explore.
So up at number 6, we have Mortal Shell. Okay, so this one is kind of weird because you're not a chosen undead or a hunter. You play as this pale, fragile, ghost-like creature called the Foundling. You're basically a blank slate. But you have this ability. You can possess the bodies of lost legendary warriors. These are the Mortal Shells. Your goal is to navigate this decaying, surreal world and retrieve sacred glands for your enigmatic master, the Dark Father. Now, this game came from a super small indie team, Cold Symmetry, and it's a focused and confident take on the genre. The shells are the core of the experience. They're your class system. You'll find 4 different shells in the world, and each one has a completely different feel. One is an all-rounder, one's a tank with a ton of health but very little stamina, another is a high stamina, low health rogue type. You get the idea. You can swap between them at checkpoints, and as you use them, you unlock glimpses of their past and gain unique new abilities. But the gameplay mechanic that will either make you click with this game instantly or not is that at any time, you can turn your character to stone. And I mean anytime. Mid-dodge, mid-attack, while drinking a healing item. You can start a massive greatsword swing, harden to bait the enemy into hitting your petrified form, and the second their attack bounces off, you unharden and your own swing continues right where it left off. It is the central pillar of the combat. It's your block, it's your parry, it's your everything. And it forces you to play in this very deliberate, very methodical way. The combat is already very heavy and weighty, but mastering the rhythm of attacking, hardening, and then finishing your attack is a feeling unlike anything else in the genre.
The world is smaller and more compact than a lot of other games on this list, but it's dense and absolutely dripping with atmosphere. It's a game that knows exactly what it wants to be. It introduces a few brilliant, unique ideas with the shell and hardened systems, and it builds the entire experience around them.
Coming into number 5 is Wolong Fallen Dynasty. This one's from Team Ninja, and they take us to a dark fantasy version of China's Three Kingdoms period. You play as a militia soldier, a nameless militia soldier, thrown right into the thick of the Yellow Turban Rebellion. But there are demons and dragons everywhere. You gotta fight through corrupted warlords and mythical beasts to save the land. Now, if you've played Neo, you might think you know what you're getting into, but Wolong is a completely different beast, because this game is not about blocking, and it's not even really about dodging. It is 100% about the deflect. You have this spirit gauge, which is basically a posture bar for both you and your enemies. Instead of just chipping away at a health bar, your main goal is to be kind of like a wuxia movie badass. You have to stand your ground, watch the enemies attack, and tab the deflect button right as it's about to hit you. You get this satisfying clang, the enemy stumbles back, and your spirit gauge goes up while theirs goes down. Break their spirit, and they're completely staggered, open for a critical hit. It forces you into this aggressive, high-stakes dance. You're not backing away, you're constantly in the enemy's face, turning their own offense against them. It's very, very reminiscent of Sekiro's posture system, but with Team Ninja's signature flair for fast-paced action and weapon arts. And then they layer the morale system on top of that. Basically, the more enemies you kill and flags you capture in a level, the higher your morale rank gets, making you stronger. But powerful enemies also have high morale. And if a big general with a morale of 20 comes at you when you're only at, like, say, 10, you're gonna have a bad time. It's got a dynamic difficulty inside each level that pushes you to explore and fight, not just run past everything, which honestly makes it faster and more focused than Neo.
All right, at number 4, we've got Ashen. The premise is that for ages, the world had no sun. The only light came from the Ashen, a giant bird-like creature of light. But the Ashen has died, and the world is covered in ash. You are one of the last humans, and your goal is to help protect the new fledgling Ashen as it's being reborn, and in the process, build a new home for what's left of humanity. That feeling of community, of connection, is baked into every single part of this game. On the surface, it's a very competent Souls-like. It's got stamina-based combat, tough enemies, and that familiar, deliberate pacing. It feels a bit simpler, maybe more streamlined than a FromSoft game, but it's solid and challenging. But the real genius of Ashen is its passive multiplayer. It's kind of like the game Journey, that's if you've ever played that. As you're out exploring, you'll run into other players, but they look just like the friendly NPCs from your town. There's no voice chat, no text chat, you just meet them, you wave, and you decide if you want to adventure together, which honestly creates these unspoken bonds. You'll go through an entire brutal dungeon with a complete stranger, relying on nothing but your actions to communicate, and then you'll part ways at the end. It completely recontextualizes the lonely journey of a typical Souls-like. And that all feeds into your town, Vagrant's Rest. As you find other survivors and complete quests for them, they'll come and settle in your town. The place literally grows. A blacksmith sets up a shop, a tanner builds a hut. You can watch your little settlement grow from a couple of sad-looking tents into a thriving little village. All of this is wrapped in this minimalist art style where none of the characters have faces. Not really much to say for this one though, but Ashen is just a game about hope and connection in a dark world. And it's one of the most unique and heartwarming takes on the genre.
Up at number 3, we've got Lies of P. So in Lies of P, you play as P, a very special puppet created by Geppetto, and you wake up on a train in the city of Krat, and Krat has gone to hell. It was this technologically advanced city powered by an army of puppet servants, but something called the Puppet Frenzy happened, and now they're all just murderous automatons who have slaughtered most of the human population. Your goal, guided by a mysterious voice on the phone, is to find Geppetto and figure out what went wrong.
The dark, gothic, Belle Epoque era city, the fast and aggressive combat, the rally mechanic where you can regain health by attacking after taking a hit is all there, but Lies of P brings so many of its own incredible ideas to the table. Legion Arm, this is a customizable mechanical arm that acts as your secondary ability. You can have a grappling hook to pull enemies toward you, a flamethrower, a deployable shield. There are a ton of them, and they completely change how you approach combat. And then there's the weapon assembly system, which is cool. You don't just find weapons, you find blades and handles, and you can mix and match them. You can take the heavy blade of a greatsword and put it on the fast-swinging handle of a dagger to create a completely new weapon with its own unique moveset. And on top of all that, as a special puppet, you have the ability to lie. You'll be faced with these narrative choices where you can tell a comforting lie or a harsh truth. And lying affects your humanity. And so as the story, and also the more you lie, the more human you become, which has a direct impact on the endings you can get and other secrets in the world. It's a game that absolutely nails the atmosphere and combat of its inspiration, but then builds upon that foundation with some of the most creative mechanics.
Moving on to number 2, we have Nioh 2. So this one is a prequel to the first game, and you're not playing as the Irishman William this time. Instead, you create your own character. And you're not just a regular samurai, you're a shiftling, a half-human, half-yokai outcast. You're a mercenary who hunts demons in the war-torn Sengoku period of Japan, and you eventually team up with a merchant, getting tangled up in a massive war between humans and yokai. Look, this is Team Ninja, and this is their magnum opus. The core combat is still here. You have the 3 stances, high for damage, mid for defense, low for dodging, and you can switch between them mid-combo. And of course, you have the key pulse. After every combo, you have to time a button press to regain your stamina or ki. It is the single most important mechanic and what gives the combat its relentless rhythm. Since you're half demon, you can transform into this powerful yokai form. It's your ultimate comeback mechanic. But even better than that is the burst counter. Enemies will unleash these powerful, unblockable attacks that glow red, and you have to time your burst counter to parry them. When you nail it, you do massive ki damage to the enemy, completely interrupting their offense and leaving them open, which fundamentally changes the game from the defensive backpedaling of the first Nioh into an aggressive whatever, where you are constantly standing your ground and meeting the enemy's biggest attacks head-on. You kill yokai and they can drop their soul, and you can equip these souls to literally use their own attacks. You can equip a giant snake boss's soul and shoot poison from your hands. You can equip an Anki's soul and do a giant spear-throwing leap. The level of build customization in this game is almost overwhelming. The Diablo-style loot system is back, so you're constantly finding gear and tweaking your build to perfection. Nioh 2 has arguably the highest skill ceiling of any game on this list. It is a complex, demanding, and very deep action RPG that is just a masterpiece, plain and simple. And finally, at number 1, we have Stellar Blade. So, humanity has lost the war, and Earth has been completely overrun by these monstrous creatures called the Naytibas, and what's left of the human race has fled to an orbital colony. You play as Eve, a soldier from the 7th Airborne Squad, sent back down to a ruined Earth on a mission to hunt down the Elder Naytiba and reclaim the planet. The combat is all about aggression and precise timing. It blends the parry-focused defense of a game like Sekiro with the flashy, combo-heavy action of something like Bayonetta. You have your light and heavy attacks, of course, but the real meat of the system is in your defensive options. You have to master the timing of your parries and dodges. A perfect parry negates all damage and weakens the enemy's balance, setting them up for a devastating retribution attack.
And then there are the special attacks. Enemies will glow with different colors to signal what you need to do. A yellow attack is unblockable, so you have to dodge. A blue attack signals a blink opportunity where you phase right through the enemy and appear behind them, ready to punish. A purple attack lets you use repulse to knock them back. On top of that, you build up beta energy to unleash powerful special moves and a burst gauge for even bigger attacks and buffs. It all comes together to create a combat system that is not only deep and challenging, but also visually spectacular. I mean, the animations are just insane. This game took the core tenets of the Soulslike, the tough bosses, the learning patterns, the methodical combat, and fused it with a level of speed and acrobatic flair that feels completely fresh.
And as a bonus entry, we have Salt and Sanctuary. Now, this game came out back in 2016 from this tiny indie studio, and people immediately gave it a nickname, 2D Dark Souls. They managed to take the entire feeling of a 3D Souls-like and just perfectly translate it to a 2D plane. The combat is slow, it's deliberate, it's all about stamina management. You have your light and heavy attacks, your shield, your parry, and a very important dodge roll. But it's not just a copy because it has its own ideas. The biggest one is its skill tree. They call it the Tree of Skill, and it is massive. It's this gigantic, sprawling web of nodes that lets you build your character in pretty much any way you can imagine. You can start as a knight and slowly work your way over to the wizardry section to become a spell-casting battle mage. And these sanctuaries are your bonfires. But instead of just resting at them, you claim them for your chosen creed, which is this game's version of covenants. And once you claim a sanctuary, you can populate it with NPCs. You can use an idol to summon a blacksmith or a guide or a merchant. It makes each checkpoint feel like your own little personal base that you're building up. So you're a sailor on a ship, tasked with protecting a princess who is being sent to another country for a political marriage to stop a war. But of course, your ship is attacked by marauders and then destroyed by this massive Cthulhu-looking sea monster. You wash up on the shore of a completely unknown, fog-shrouded island, and your new goal is simple: find the princess and survive. To cut the long story short, Salt and Sanctuary is a very great game. The whole game is wrapped in this hand-drawn, grim, washed-out art style that is honestly dripping with atmosphere. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and of course, make sure to turn on those notifications so you never miss an upload. Lastly, remember to drink some water and get some sun. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.